Joe Rogan and Dana White speak on future in the UFC. Joe Rogan and Dana White have been working together for decades now, and their relationship has become more better every year that passes. Literally growing the UFC together from the beginning and achieving new record numbers every year that passes. It's amazing to see what the UFC has come to, and it will continue to grow, guaranteed. The UFC is literally the fastest growing sport of all time, and the originator and finder recently had a sit down with the legendary Joe Rogan to speak more about the future of UFC. Most of you know already, but Dana White has recently been receiving a bunch of backlash from the media, and it's not really helping the company by any means. Literally having to deal with all the media drama and even some of his own workers turning on him and making him seem more like a bad person. Most people would agree that this is the perfect time for Dana White to be on the Joe Rogan podcast, and luckily for us, we got an early scoop at Joe Rogan and Dana White's talk about the future of the UFC. There's so much to get into today, and Dana White obviously has a lot to get off his chest as well. You know what that means, right? Today's video is going to be a very interesting one, and I gotta advise you to stick around and watch this video until the very end as we get into things one detail at a time. Trust me when I say you won't want to miss a thing. Thanks for stopping by today and visiting us at Warrior Report. We post daily UFC updates and news that you really should know about if you're a fan. If you haven't already, be sure to subscribe to our channel for the latest UFC news. Leave a like and comment keyword UFC to enter a chance at winning our brand new iPhone giveaway. One lucky viewer is picked at the end of each month. Now, let's jump into this video and take a closer look at Joe Rogan and Dana White speaking about the future of the UFC. Joe Rogan has had many interesting podcasts recently, but a lot of people have been looking forward to this one. Dana White is one of Joe Rogan's closest friends, and it's odd how he's never been on the podcast before. But finally, we've received what we've all been waiting for, and trust me when I say it, it's a juicy one. Dana White and Joe Rogan get deeper into detail about Dana's future with the UFC, and I gotta be honest, it's pretty shocking to hear what he has to say. Of course, as we all know already, Joe Rogan is great when it comes to getting the truth out of people, and he really worked his magic on his old friend Dana White. I personally am a fan of Dana White and all he's done with this great sport he's built from the ground up. Dana White is a legend no matter what anybody says, and it's unfortunate that he's dealing with such negativity. But that's usually how it goes. Most people never recognize the good you've done and only take the bad. Obviously, nobody's perfect, and we all know about how messed up the media and press can be. Joe Rogan and Dana White get pretty deep, and you can see Dana actually start to get a little bit emotional. It's safe to say that during this Joe Rogan experience, Dana White showed a side of him that's never been seen before, and this is exactly what most people expected. Finally, Dana White has made his appearance on the Joe Rogan Experience podcast, and it's beautiful to see these two buddies talk things out. If you didn't know already, Joe Rogan actually owns a good chunk of the UFC, thanks to Dana, and Joe respects all Dana has done very much, putting Joe Rogan on the map and making sure that he's successful for his great talent. Obviously, Joe Rogan, being the hustler that he is, has taken things to a whole different level and has achieved massive amounts of success. All I know is Joe Rogan and Dana White are very good friends, and Dana White's career might be coming to an end. By the looks of it, Dana White doesn't seem like he wants to be a part of the UFC anymore. Always being at the very front row of the public eye and having to deal with every little thing. We all know that Joe Rogan has been a part of the company for a very long time now, and it looks like Dana White is interested in handing the company over to Joe Rogan because he believes he will do a great job running it and continuing the legacy. To be honest, I can totally see that happening, and I believe Joe Rogan will continue to do a great job growing the UFC. I don't think he'll be a commentator for much longer, which means we won't get to hear that great voice of his anymore during the matches. But we most definitely will for the pre- and post-conferences. Joe Rogan has been the face of the UFC for some time now, and this is all happening for a reason. It's shocking to see, but you better believe it. Joe Rogan will soon be the future owner of the UFC, and I'm glad to see it.